Ready Check Radio.
Stand by as we get ready to serve up all your news this week in the world of gaming. Welcome to Gaming Gumbo. Hello, Internet, and welcome once again to Gaming Gumbo, your weekly gaming wrap-up podcast brought to you by Ready Check Radio. I'm your host, Mike Byrne. This is episode 21. If you're listening on Spotify or watching on YouTube, head on over to ReadyCheckRadio.com, RAIDEO.com, and in the upper right-hand corner, make sure you click all those socials. Give us a follow on YouTube, or subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you hit those notifies, and a follow on Twitch and Twitter and everything else. And come on over sometime. Join us live with chat here. It's 7 p.m., little after 7 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday. So we've got a lot of news. We're going to go through it today. We'll see how well we did on our Video Game Hall of Fame guesses. We'll talk about Sony and some other companies, maybe getting some info released that they didn't really plan to have released. And, of course, Resident Evil 8 and so much more. Joining me to talk about all of it, Mr. Jason Winter. How are you, sir?
I'm just glad you've never seen my redacted documents.
Yeah, right? Oof.
Oof.
Oof. Frightening.
Oof.
And the man that'll probably make the redactions look artistic, Yod. How are you?
We can make redactions?
Yeah, well, I mean, you could draw, like, you got a little black rectangle. Make it arty. Do something. Do something. Yod, everybody loving the new overlays for the shows, by the way.
Excellent.
Good feedback on all three shows as we put Val, the woman herself, in all three shows. So great job. Much appreciated,
Branding
my friend.
going there.
Branding, there it is.
Yes.
Branding. That's what you call that. That's what you call that. All right, so let's start it off, gentlemen, with some just miscellaneous news. These are the things that really didn't fit into a category themselves, and normally I finish shows with miscellaneous news. So to shake it up today, I'm going to put it at the beginning of the show because it's my freaking show. So I'll do whatever the hell I want. A few episodes ago, we did talk about 12 different nominees for the World Video Game Hall of Fame. I believe some of us had what we thought would probably make it, or what should make it out of that. And I believe, Mr. Jason Winter, that you have gone back in time and acquired the answers to see if any of us were correct on any of these.
If I could go back in time, I would have bought Dogecoin.
Oh, there you go. There you go. What's it up to now? What's it up to now? Do we know?
I don't know.
I mean, you can still buy it. It's still going up.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
There's nothing stopping you from buying it.
Yeah, it's my desire to see the rainforest continue.
Yeah, it's at 65. It's 65 cents right now. 65 cents. I bought it
it's
at
not
2
bad.
cents. So
65's not bad.
yeah, when I bought it at 2 cents. So feeling good. So let's go through. 4 were picked. The class of 2012. Here they are, in no particular order. Microsoft Flight Simulator makes the cut. Joins the World Video Game Hall of Fame. Mr. Winter, did any of us think that Microsoft Flight Simulator was going to make it?
Yes, one of us did.
And who might that be?
It wasn't you and it wasn't me.
Yod! First one on the board.
Yeah.
Congrats. Now, so if I remember right, and I might not because it's been a while and we all have points to make, I think Jason and we were kind of like, yeah, but certainly iconic, right? But not really like Hall of Fame worthy. Yod, what pushed this over the finish line for you that you thought this was gonna make it?
If I remember correctly, I think it was because it is still so prevalent today, and it was so accurate to actual places.
I think, Jason, the thing that we gave it points off for was like its impact outside of video games, because that was a criteria, right? Like in other avenues of entertainment, movies, books, novels, comics, that type of thing. And we were like, well, this does well in the video game only categories, but not in this particular category. So, Yod, you are off to the lead. 1-0 to nothing. Next up, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Jason, let's go to you for the ruling.
We all thought that would make it.
All three of us thought that was kind of a no-brainer, though, right?
Yeah, it's kind of a classic game.
Yeah, right? I mean,
I mean,
classic series of games, and then the game show, and
TV
then the
shows.
cartoon show, and the
And I'm actually a
character.
little-
The
I was
new
actually
cartoon show.
a little surprised watching it that I actually did vote yes on it because you guys are young enough that it was like right in your milieu. I've never actually
Yeah.
seen anything of Carmen Sandiego. I just know it exists. I know it's a big deal, but I never saw the
Mad
cartoon or
Martha
the games
in
like
chat
it.
never heard of that game, to be honest.
Wow.
You have
Carmen
never
Sandiego,
heard
really?
of where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? I mean, there's just dozens and
I
dozens.
mean, Martha's
and
older
dozens
than me,
of,
so there's that.
yeah.
But still,
There's dozens
I-
and dozens. Oh, you know Martha? Jason?
I don't know. I don't not personally, but he's
But
always
yeah,
on
you,
streams, so.
you know what I mean. Like, you internet
Yeah,
know
whatever.
them.
My
You
internet know
know
him.
them.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I remember watching the cartoon, and of course there's
Oh,
a new cartoon that's
I
out.
watch the game show all the time with Rockapella
Mhm,
singing the intro.
mhm.
Kids.
Yeah. Oh, man, I watch that show all the time. I so wanted to be on that show. I wanted to stand on that world map and place the sirens on the countries as they name them. Never got my shot. I consider it a missed opportunity. Also, that's 2. So right now it's Yod 2, Jason and Mike 1.
Mhm.
What's up next? Animal Crossing made it. Jason, did any of us pick Animal Crossing?
No. However, you were the closest in saying that you thought it would eventually get there.
Yeah. I remember saying that I think it should at some point, but I thought that its nomination this year was probably due to the most recent
Mhm.
being so out there as far as sales that I thought it would get there down the line, but not this year. All right, so 2-1 still. That means it all comes down to this one. StarCraft from Blizzard Entertainment makes the Video Game Hall of Fame. Rounding out your 4, Microsoft Flight Simulator, StarCraft, Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego, and Animal Crossing. Jason, what do we got?
We all voted yes on this one.
Ooh, look at us.
So-
Look at us.
Mm-hmm.
Being all smart. So
Yeah, it should
Yod.
be noted though.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead and finish that up first.
No, you're right. Go ahead.
I'll say we all voted yes on Call of Duty as well.
Yeah, and that'll eventually
True.
get in. That'll
Yeah, we'll get
absolutely
there.
eventually get in. So Yod, you walk away with the win
I
because of
do.
Microsoft Flight
Oh.
Simulator.
Mhm.
Jason,
Well, no,
wait, hold on. There is a challenge flag
Hold
on the field.
now.
There is a
Does
challenge
it count as
flag
him
down.
winning when the rest of he chose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 games to make it. He was yes on 7 of them. He should get credit against for the ones he didn't pick.
Well, I mean, okay, hold on.
because
Yeah,
otherwise you
hold on.
pick yes on all
I'll-
of them.
I'll hear the challenge, but I need to know then the stats of how many you and I selected to enter.
Mhm.
I think we were a little more discerning than Yod. I'll give you that, but how much more discerning?
So there were a couple that we were kind of iffy on in terms of whether we didn't really say a straight up yes or no, but I think we all kind of leaned no on pole position.
Yeah.
You said a
Right.
solid no. Yad and I kind of leaned no. You and Yad leaned yes on Mattel football, like asking why isn't it in there yet? 'Cause
Yeah.
You didn't necessarily say yes, it belongs for sure.
Yeah.
Other than that, like we all did Call of Duty. You both picked Guitar Hero and I didn't,
Yeah.
Mm.
and then Yad picked yes on Portal. And neither of
Portal.
us
Yeah, and I thought you were silly for picking Portal.
Thanks.
You know what? I'm going to decline the challenge. Yod, you win 3-2 to 2.
Well, I'm
You
just picking
win.
them all to be yes
I'm going to
next
give you
time.
30 seconds to thank your mom and your family. Go.
Yes. Thank you for everybody that let me play video games.
Well, congratulations, Yod, and congratulations to Microsoft Flight Simulator, StarCraft, Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego, and Animal Crossing on making it to the World Video Game Hall of Fame. Zach saying my wrist hurts thinking about StarCraft. Yeah, that's about right. That's about right. Okay, now this next thing we're going to talk about kind of in the miscellaneous news category still, there is a whole other side to this, but I didn't want to do Jason and I on 2 shows talking about the same thing. Like, I try to avoid that unless it's really, really big. Okay. And it makes sense to put it on the free-to-play cast on mmobomb.com, and it makes sense to put it on this show. And I thought this topic did warrant being discussed here. but for two different reasons. So, that said, if you want to know my thoughts or Jason's thoughts on the overarching lawsuit between Epic and Apple and what's going on and all the foobar that has happened there, I'm getting a slight echo off of one of you guys, by the way.
That might be me.
Then check out the free-to-play cast that got posted yesterday on mmobomb.com. What we're going to talk about here today are the companies that aren't involved in suing or defending themselves in a lawsuit that are probably a little pissed off right now because all kinds of stuff that doesn't directly relate to Epic or Apple has been leaking like a sieve from this damn lawsuit. And Jason, I think of particular ire here is probably Sony.
Yeah, although it's one of those cases where they said, it's about crossplay with for Fortnite, crossplay on the PlayStation 4.
Yep.
And they said, well, we don't want to do crossplay, back when this was first being discussed, because PlayStation 4 is just the best place to play Fortnite. That's what we really truly believe.
Mm.
And like the actual suit, like the whole Epic versus Apple thing, it's just about money. That's all. It's nothing more.
Yeah.
Not
One
about
of the
principles, nothing. Just
one
money.
of the first things that leaked, Yad, was an email on this topic from business development on the Unreal Engine in the Americas at Epic Games, Joe Kreiner, working with Sony, trying to get Fortnite crossplay back in 2018.
Right.
And the email states, "We love working with PlayStation, and we want this to be a win-win. The longer this drags out, it will be less so. I can't think of a scenario where Epic doesn't get what we want." There's a sentence, right?
Yeah.
Right? That possibility went out the door when Fortnite became the biggest game on PlayStation. Here's what I
the numbers now.
They aren't wrong. Here is what I propose. 1, we give you the data you're asking for, plus the marketing data ask. 2, Epic deeply integrates Sony's esports API into Unreal Engine 4 as an engine-level feature. We market it, advertise it as a first-class citizen of the engine, maybe an E3 announcement, and we support it in Fortnite. 3, we announce crossplay in conjunction with Sony. Epic goes out of its way to make Sony look like heroes. You get to pick up the when, where, how. 4, Epic brands its E3 presence with PlayStation. We're planning a 100-player celebrity pro-am with a huge after-party. Budgets I've seen are huge, and it will be the biggest event at E3. Maybe we announce with all the celebs on stage. New partnership, plus. 5, Epic's willing to explore more items. Maybe we commit to a game at the launch of your next VR platform, ? 6, PS Plus. Maybe we do something extra special for a month. Offer a unique character or something highly valuable to drive PS Plus adoption even more. 7, Epic extends the Sony company-wide Unreal Engine 4 license. I don't think I've mentioned this before, but your license to use UE4 expires in May of 2019. That license has some of the best terms we've ever offered for Unreal 4. Let's make this a huge win for us all. Epic's not changing its mind on the issue, so let's just agree on it now. All right, so a little aggressive in some ways, right? A little aggressive in some ways. But when you read when you read those 7, Yad, you do have to admit that it looks like Epic is willing to, hey, we want this to happen.
Okay.
We're going to make you look really freaking good. Just do it.
1 through 6 is like, here's a nice little present. Isn't it pretty? You should take it. And then number 7 is like, and if you don't, here's a knife. Please, you're going to take it or else.
I don't know if you've mentioned this before, but your license to UE4 expires in May 19th. It'd be a real shame if something would have happened to your license.
Right? Right? I mean, that's how I read it. It was like 1 through 6 is,
if your license
here's some really good stuff.
It'd be a real shame if your license fell off a cliff.
Yeah, you really should take it, though, because that license is coming up due soon. And,
but isn't that the way you do it? Like, carrot stick, all that whole deal,
I mean, those should be 2 different emails. This makes them sound rather bipolar, in my opinion.
I don't know. I do view, okay, that one is a little, hey, you got a really good license, be a shame if something happened to it.
Right? Like it's a little mobster there.
Right. But like the other 6, like, They were really
Yeah.
trying to, kind of like, look,
Yeah.
you can look like the
Here's-
heroes. We don't even care. We just want
If-
this to happen so badly. We have the biggest thing on your platform. Let's make it happen. And you know what? You guys at Sony can totally walk out of this, Jason, looking like the absolute heroes. We don't care. And Sony still didn't budge for a while.
Because you know what none of those 6 things do? They don't
Pay
immediately
them.
They don't immediately put money in Sony's
Yes,
pockets.
yes. But
That's what they
it's
don't
just,
do.
if it was just those 6 things, yeah, it's a really nice email. It's a really sweet deal. That 7th one just it sticks you there, and I think someone at Sony just went,
Yeah.
we're not gonna bow to that.
Well,
think
I'll
that
tell
part
you
of it was
exactly
mine.
what they did.
Yeah.
Gio Corsi, Sony's senior director of developer relations back at the time, totally threw the idea out of crossplay, saying that cross-platform play is not a slam dunk, no matter the size of your title. Talking about Fortnite. As you know, many companies are exploring this idea, and not a single one can explain how cross-console play improves the PlayStation business. To Jason's point, the money, the business aspect of it. Now, that all changed later, right? In 2019, when Sony went ahead and figured out a way to extract money from the cross-platform area. And we have slides that leaked from here that I'm sure, again, Sony probably isn't happy about, considering that the slides clearly say on them, highly confidential, attorney's eyes only. like, very clearly on them. Where Epic Games CEO Tim Sweeney confirmed at trial that Sony is the only platform holder that requires compensation for crossplay, saying in certain circumstances, Epic will have to pay additional revenue to Sony. If somebody were primarily playing on PlayStation but paying on iPhone, this might trigger compensation. He also said that Epic had to agree to pay these additional fees to Sony in order to enable crossplay at all. So it came strictly down, Jason, to the cash.
Yeah, and I've been in situations like that in companies I've worked for where I have ideas. I'm maybe not great, but I suggest them to our the people or whatever, and they're like, yeah, but how do we make money on this immediately? Yeah, but down the road we're going to. Yeah, but how do we make it now? It's like, okay, fine.
That seems to be a really good Final Fantasy trading card. Too bad it doesn't impact the field right now. Now, they do still have, presumably, this is still in effect, and it's not like they just say, hey, here's 10 million and crossplay is enabled. It does have to, there's a mathematical equation that takes the entire player base of a particular game, multiplies it by the fraction that are on the PlayStation, and if it doesn't equal this certain amount, then they get this amount of money. So there is like some math behind it and everything. But Sony is the only one apparently charging, at least Epic, and I don't really have a reason to believe that anybody else is getting charged. It would seem,
right.
If you want to do a whole let's extrapolate this out, wouldn't that lead you to believe that Sony has probably got similar deals with other companies and Microsoft and Nintendo don't?
That's a high probability, and since these documents have come to light, I'm sure those deals will be modified in some way. Considering other companies are going, wait a minute.
Yeah,
Why are we getting this?
If they're getting that deal, why aren't we getting that deal?
Yeah, I just have like Phil Spencer opened up the news that day and was like, "What the fuck?"
Exactly.
Come on.
Maybe that could wind up being a stipulation of them getting back in the Apple Store.
Yeah. Well, Tim Sweeney got an email from Phil Spencer, and it just said, "Hey, you got a really good battle royale there. It'd be a shame if something happened to it."
Right.
Speaking of Phil and Microsoft, though, on this kind of same topic, we spoke a little while ago, I think it was last week or the week before, where we had Microsoft Store, the actual Windows gaming store, decided that on the PC side of things, instead of doing a 70-30 split, that they were going to do an 88-12. And we jokingly said, I wonder where they got that percentage, because that's the Epic Game Store's cut. But we thought that was a good move. What we didn't know until some more documents ended up getting revealed, was that Microsoft actually took this a step further too, and very, very in-depth, in an in-depth fashion, considered doing this on the Xbox store too with console gaming. And I'm kind of surprised that they even went down this road. Like, I think the only reason, Jason, they might have even thought about this was, what if Epic wins this case? If they do, does that give the Xbox store any exposure as a walled garden, and what would happen? So if we were forced to do 8812, what would that look like? And if it's feasible, maybe we get out ahead and do it now. That's kind of maybe where I see the board's thought process while they're kind of talking through this whole thing.
Yes, I mean, I think I wouldn't expect them to do it unless they were forced to, which I think was why it was taken off the table. So, yeah, I don't know why they would unless they had to. Or maybe in case if they want to just be consistent with the Microsoft store, maybe that would be a reason for it as well.
Yeah,
Right, it could just make accounting easier.
Mhm.
yeah. I mean, I'm kind of impressed that they did look at it as in depth as they did, because I could almost see a rationale for, you know what, we'll wait to see what happens with that case, and if we have to explore it, we'll have to explore it. But no, right now we're going to take 30%. Now, they did not actually make a change, but slides were revealed showing that they absolutely considered it across all storefronts, not PC. So it's not something that I would put out of the realm of possibility to change in the future. It looks like 8812 doesn't mathematically work for them, but who knows? Maybe 8020 does, right? Or 7525, all of which are better than 7030 and provide a little competition there.
It's probably also because of how closely the Microsoft Store and the Xbox Store on the PC and on the Xbox are kind of tied together because of the whole you can play games on both machines with one account type deal. So they might have been a
Yeah.
little worried about how that cross comes into play
Yeah, with
with the
Game
whole
Pass.
Epic Apple thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're talking about the difference between a phone and a dedicated gaming machine and all that stuff. So
And they might be
something might
hesitant.
have been up there where
They might be
Sony doesn't have
hesitant
to
to
worry
do
about
it.
that.
Might be hesitant to do it because they don't make any money off their Xboxes.
Right.
Yeah, that was another thing
Right.
we found out. Now, by the way, if you didn't know this, that's fine. But most people that have been in the industry as long as like Jason and I have, most of these companies don't make money on the consoles until if they do at all, very, very late in the console's lifespan, when they have figured out how to make it cheaper and smaller and sell slimline versions and all that stuff. So this was
Right.
not surprising, but if you didn't know or you just suspected, we did see it confirmed that Xbox has been selling consoles at a loss for a while now, and that is pretty standard, at a loss or very, very minimal profits in some cases for most of the console manufacturers. They did then they did want to come out, though, after that leaked and be like, we want you to understand the Xbox itself is profitable as a brand, as a business, with Game Pass and the games and all. Xbox makes Microsoft money, just not the console itself. Not the console
Yeah.
itself.
And
Because
a
that
friend
leaked.
of mine,
Go ahead.
a friend of mine who used to work at a Toys R Us told me too that it's the same way for them. Like their cost of getting in an Xbox, something was like $297. They sell it for $299.
Yep. You want
So
the
they make like
traffic.
$2 profit on it. Yeah, the traffic and the sell the games, of
Yep.
course.
Oh,
Yeah.
Toys R Us.
Sell your
Toys R Us.
controllers and your
Those-
memory
those
cards and
days.
your all that jazz.
Those days
Going
when
to
you could walk
stores.
into a shop and just look at toys.
Right. A last piece of this whole puzzle, by the way, is that 2 new lawsuits have sprung up in the wake of Epic and Apple in court over a walled garden monopoly. And that is a claim against Sony for the same thing, which, Jason, you and I have speculated for a long time that these were just going to be coming. If Epic and Apple even went to court, let alone who won, if it made it to court, we were going to see some of these other companies dragged into court. And here comes filings against Sony for the same type of thing, being able to monopolize and charge $70 for a digital title. That's the only way to get it, when you could go buy it for $30 physically. Also, Humble Bundle going after Valve and the Steam platform for the same kind of monopolistic processes here. That one's a little different because they're also talking about the way they distribute keys being part of the monopoly that it creates. And I agree with you, Jason, that there's probably a less likelihood of Humble winning against Steam than the claimants against Sony or Epic against Apple.
Yeah, just because of the fact that PC has a lot of different ways to get games. And sure, if the keys are the issue, then you just do something different from that instead of doing that. So
it's certainly an interesting time to be a gamer. It certainly is. And at court, all we can suggest is at least learn how to work the damn conference call because.
Oh God, that was the first thing that hit me when I posted up on the Discord was the whole conference call thing where all the fans were in the same conference call and they could
And we're
speak.
able to be heard. Yeah. And we're able to be heard, including I will suck you all to put Fortnite back on my phone.
Right. The other thing was
you stay classy, internet.
Right. The other thing was the direct quotes from the Epic CEO, which, okay. I mean that's what got me on was when I was talking on Discord was that the CEO basically said that the deal they got from Apple is the standard deal. They just wanted it better. They know it's a standard deal. It's nothing
it's 100%
unfair.
money.
They just want a better deal. They want it to be
you go into
a
press and
unicorn.
try to be altruistic in the press, but it's about $2 billion companies fighting over millions.
Right, but I mean, they just wanted to be the special unicorn, and well, Apple doesn't treat anybody like a special unicorn. That's why you can't customize your iPhone. Everybody's the same.
Yep. All right, let's talk about some new titles.
Yeah.
We'll finish the miscellaneous news and let's talk about some new titles. So first off, this week, this one was kind of like came out of freaking nowhere, by the way. Ubisoft went out and was doing a little dev blog post thing about The Division. Okay, cool. I like The Division, 8 months after it came out because it was rough at the beginning. It was okay. I liked Division 2, about 6 months after it came out because they did learn some lessons, so it took less time to fix that one. But I do like the Division series quite a bit, and so Ubisoft putting out an update on the Division universe at first when we saw it, and it came out of nowhere, and I saw the headline, I was like, oh shit, it's going away. Like, the headline is just the headline is just an update on the Tom Clancy's The Division universe, and I'm like, well, shit, that's a closing notice. I've seen enough of those.
Because it's not going to be the Division. It's not going to be the Division 3 because nobody makes their third games.
Well, then it's nowhere near Division 3 time anyway. But surprisingly, it was the other way. Like they went on and were talking about new content for Division 2 coming. There's still another expansion after Warlords of New York that we're supposed to get for that, which I actually haven't played a lot of any of the Warlord stuff actually. A Division mobile game, a Division novel, which that one's kind of weird. Tom's been dead a while. And a Netflix film, which I'm like, that's cool. What's that?
Is he?
Yeah, he died.
Is he Tom Clancy?
Yeah, Clancy.
Oh wow, really?
Oh yeah.
He died a while ago.
Yeah,
he's 2013.
He's long dead.
He almost bought the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he's long dead.
The movie thing's interesting to me because there is a short film. There is a short film for Division 1, I think, that came out.
I always thought that when Division 1 came out, I was like, this is a fantastic premise for a movie.
Mm-hmm.
This is a fantastic premise.
Yeah,
like it's not groundbreaking. There's like slight almost Division-esque movies, but I'd love to see the Division done as a movie.
Yeah, a pandemic that spreads by virus stuff on money. Boy, that's what an interesting idea.
Yeah, might not be. I always thought it would make a good movie. I just literally said it wasn't a groundbreaking idea, and then you're gonna give me shit like that.
I'm saying I'd rather have the movie than the real life version.
Where's my mute host 2 button? You son of a bitch. But we did get also an additional announcement about The Division Heartland, which is a free-to-play game in the Division universe in development at Red Storm Studio. Having worked on Tom Clancy games since 1997, its extensive experience across numerous genres in game, most recently The Division and The Division 2, makes Red Storm a perfect fit for this project. Heartland is a standalone game that doesn't require previous experience with the series, but will provide an all-new perspective on the universe in a new setting. The game will be made available in 2021-22 on PC, consoles, and cloud, and you can sign up for beta here. What are we getting here, Jason? Now, that is all we know right now. I can't imagine it's a looter shooter because they probably still want to sell Division 1 and 2. So what are we getting?
It's a card game. No, it's a
No.
battle royale.
Yeah, it has to be, right?
It has to be.
I could imagine maybe a tactical setup.
What, like a
Kinda like
squad-based hero thing?
Yeah. Then
But they
Gears
have
of War
Rainbow
come out with
Six
something like that?
Siege.
Yeah, but it's not in the Division universe.
I mean, I can see that possibly, because I think Siege is a different kind of thing. It is its own like attack defend thing, or something that was more like a basic control point deal or whatever would be different.
Mad
Right, where
Martha
you
saying
buy your
turn-based
heroes.
is my guess. I don't know. I
Turn-based,
think
Yeah.
I think they have to have seen how bad
Kind of.
Rogue Atlas went.
Nobody saw Atlas Rogues or Atlas whatever the hell.
Yeah, Atlas Rogue.
Does that have any
whatever.
players?
I
Let me just see.
I
Atlas.
don't know. I think it's got to be a battle royale, which is unfortunate.
There are 3 people playing Atlas Rogues right now.
One of them's Troy. But yeah, so I'm all for Division stuff, but if it's a battle royale, I'll cover it where we have to, Jason, and move on.
I think it's gonna be a squad-based thing.
I would be
where you have to
I would
buy
be
your
really
characters.
surprised because then you're creating competition to your own Rainbow Six
Yeah.
Siege, which, by the way, I'm sitting there waiting for.
But-
That's going to be any day now that Rainbow Six Siege goes free to play. As
But
far
then
as
they
like
have
some portion of the initial box, right? Not that
but then they have
that
the
game
engine
is
built
failing;
already.
it's doing very well. What? Jan?
Then they have the engine, but then they have the engine built already, and they just need to skin new characters onto
Yeah, well, that's not exactly out of the realm of possibility for Ubisoft either. You're right.
it. See, it's about money on the table. Money on the table.
Turn-based stuff has its fans both in and out of the industry. I'll die on this hill. No, you're right. I
does.
agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you there. I like turn-based too, but
I just don't think it fits the division.
yeah, I don't know. I
I
mean,
mean,
maybe.
like I said, didn't Gears have something like that come out where it's like a group of
Yeah, wasn't it
characters
Gears
that
of
you're
War
controlling?
Tactics or something like that?
Something like that. Yeah, I'm imagining something like that where it's a bunch of characters that a squad of characters that you control and you move them into place and then you let them do their thing, and then
Yeah.
the buy-in, because all free to plays have something you buy, is different characters.
Look at Zach coming like all Silver Cloud positivity. Or they'll surprise us, and it's basically a Division 3 just reusing assets in free-to-play.
Oh,
I'd say that's not a 0% chance, but it's pretty close.
it's pretty slim.
We'll
yeah,
see. All right, so let's
Yeah.
jot these down, by the way, Jason.
Whatever,
Martha says turn-based,
jotting it
and
down.
Zach says Division 3-esque. Big Boy Glitch says survival with dinosaurs.
The Arc Vision.
Yeah, Ubisoft was like, that Arc game's doing pretty well.
Zombies.
Nice burger.
Zombies.
I'd like a nice
Zombies.
burger.
Speaking of zombies, the other new title,
Yes.
Resident Evil 8, came out yesterday. The initial reviews are in. I streamed it yesterday. I did my World of Warcraft streaming until like 10:30 when we finished Raid, and I was going to hop into 8 for a little bit, and I ended up streaming till 2 in the morning.
Yeah, technically, it's not Resident Evil 8.
Yeah, it's Resident Evil Village, and they don't like it being called 8, by the way. Even though they did the color art on the VIII, just like they did for
crammed that
7.
in there.
But anyway,
Mhm.
Village.
The village.
I have not been stepped on by a 9.5-foot tall woman yet, so if you're of that, fandom, it has not happened yet. I mean, we have met her and interacted with her and stuff like that. So,
Okay.
before I start, with any initial thoughts that I have, based on stuff you guys have watched, based on the initial reviews, which are generally pretty positive, I've seen them go in weird directions, though. Like, one said, hey, it's not scary at all, and it's actually more action-y, like RE4, and that's all a good thing. Then you flip to another one, and these are like marquee pages, right? Not jimsreviews.com or anything. And they're like, this is the most intense, scary Resident Evil I've played in a while. So opinions all over the board, but when you get down to the scores, generally doing pretty well. Generally doing well across the board with critics. What did you guys think with what you've seen so far? Taking a look at the reviews, some people's first looks, whatever. What do you got, Jason?
I did something I haven't done in 24 years.
Play a Resident Evil game.
Yes. I went ahead and grabbed the demo, played around with that, died in 20 minutes. But boy, it's pretty. And it probably is
very pretty.
It is very pretty. And I saw one of the reviews was talking about how well it holds up, like technologically, or how good the tech was running on his computer and so on. And yeah, I thought it was really nice looking, and I liked the ambience of it. I played a little in the village when the stuff was moving around in the fields, and I'm like, crap, okay, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? So definitely had a good feeling to it just in the short time that I did play. So yeah, that's my impressions.
As far as like Metacritics, we're seeing most of the platforms come in at like 85 on the critic side of stuff. Whether you're PC, PS5, PS4, whatever platform, it's generally around 85, 86. And the users, depending on platform, that's got a little more variety, probably because of, certain platforms having more of an audience to actually review things. That's been seeming to range from like an 8.5 to a 9.3 as well. Yad, what are you thinking as you're watching some of the initial stuff come in and watching gameplay?
All right, I hit the videos for the big three: GameSpot, Game Informer, and what's the other
Check
one?
Raideo. That's the
IGN.
third one.
IGN.
Ready Check Radio? Yeah,
right. Check
understood.
Radio.
Yeah, GameSpot, Game Informer, Ready Check Radio.
Yeah. I watched some of the individual people reviewers, and I talked to one of my friends who is a big Resident Evil fan. He got the collector's editions for the past 3 games and all that stuff with statues. Most of them are generally positive overall. A lot of it seems like the sporadic reviewing stems from depending on which area of the game you're in. I don't want to spoil anything for you, Mike, because I don't know how far you went into that. How far you went into the game. But apparently, the different areas of the game, they develop them to be different play styles. So with the big lady, you're creeping around, you're not shooting that much. Like in the village, there's things to shoot, and some of them are jump scares, some of them are creepy. It just the vibe will change depending on where you are.
Yeah, and in the stream last night, we definitely saw that. I completed the initial village portion. I mean, obviously, we're going to come back there because there were some buildings you just can't get in yet.
Right.
Where I've done some of the initial stuff in the castle. I've killed the first of the 3 daughters.
Okay.
So we're a few hours in on my side.
Right. My friend has finished it past the first section of the game. What you would call the first big boss of the game.
Okay, so have I. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be the first daughter.
No. No, it's not what I'm talking about.
Well, she's definitely the first boss of the game. That is a boss fight.
A big boss. First big boss of the game.
Okay.
And yeah, you're definitely gonna keep coming back to the village.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's according to him, if you like Resident Evil, you're gonna love the game. If you're not a Resident Evil fan, it's still something to look into. Maybe when it's cheaper. And that seems to be what a lot of the individual reviewers I watched said as well. Apparently, right now there's a little bit on PC. There's a little bit of a frame rate drop when one of the critters gets a hold of you. I think it's the werewolves when they get a hold of you. Yeah, the Lycans.
Yeah, the Lycans.
When they start getting a hold of you, there's quite a bit of frame rate drop that shouldn't be happening because apparently the system he was playing on is like top notch or whatever, according to him. I don't remember what the reviewer's name is right now because I watched so many of them to prepare for this. But yeah, so that's the only issue that I heard of throughout all the reviews I watched and talking to people.
I'm loving it, and I'm a Resident Evil fanboy to begin with, so obviously I'm probably gonna have a little bias going into this type of review because I'm not writing for IGN where I remove that bias. Nope. When we come in and talk about this, I'm gonna bring my bias to it.
Oh,
I'm
even
actually,
IGN said it was an amazing game.
yeah, I'm
So
very, very much enjoying it. It is different from the Resident Evil. These things are strong. Like on standard difficulty, they hand you a handgun that has I think 12, 15 bullets in
Yeah.
it when you first get it, and the first
Mhm.
thing took 12 to down. Like,
I
and that
saw
was
that,
with like
yeah.
3
Yeah.
headshots in there too.
hmm
So it's
Mhm.
definitely a bit different on that front. I love it. The puzzles, I haven't come across a ton yet, but they're not. If they stay
That
on par with
yeah,
where they are right now, I'm going to be a little disappointed on the
that
puzzles.
that was a comment I heard is the puzzles aren't very
Yeah.
intense,
Yep.
but that's probably so that you don't get pulled out of the
Yep.
fast-paced action as much. Because one of the other comparisons was I think it was they said they took 4 and 7 and merged them.
Yeah. Yeah. And
That's
that's
the
that's
feel
a
you get.
good
Oh,
that's a good analogy. Go ahead, Jason.
speaking of fast-paced action, that's something I've seen all the reviews I've read. Like I've read like 3 reviews. They also the first half of the game is good and it's creepy, and then after that you're just a walking armory. You blow everything away.
Right.
So that
So
that that's
so
something that's
We'll
where
see. I'm gonna
I don't
play
like it
while
so
this
much.
uploads to YouTube.
speaking
While Torchwick is
speak,
streaming.
speaking of the headshot thing, I heard there's some mods going on.
There are. There are. There
Like that
definitely
segue?
are. Yeah. Take a look at this one. Take a look at this
I
one.
love mods.
Now, obviously, this is on PC. This one coming from Marcos RCRE. This is a segment. We did this segment last night in the game, so this is like right after you've gotten into the castle.
My
Modding
God,
those.
dinosaurs.
Yes. There's those
Now, while
dinosaurs.
watching this one, both the wife and I had the same opinion: is that if you have this mod on, should the hitbox for the head not be much larger?
Right?
And should he take more damage to the head?
I love that you can still see their weapons in this mod.
Right.
That they're still swinging away. So yeah, if you want to fight Barney, you can absolutely do that.
That's
Uh,
so terrifying.
yeah. Well, I thought that one was just yeah. Okay, that's a little creepy. How about this? Whoops. Let's do the picture first. This is with Lady D with the Thomas the Tank Engine
Oh.
face. This is from Crazy Potato over on Nexus Mods.
Why does every video game have to get a Thomas the Tank Engine mod? What
Because
was
you
the other
have
thing
to.
we saw
Because
It's a
once?
law.
yeah,
It's a
it's a law.
law.
It was another Resident Evil game. I remember
It's a
he was like
law.
the,
You
the
have
butcher
to.
or whatever he was.
You
I
have
remember
to.
that.
You have to. It's a law. Then you have this one. This is the Thomas one here in action, if you want to see this. Now, I can't play this, but there is creepy music playing that
Right.
is a very slowed down version of the Thomas the Tank Engine television show theme song here in the United States. So obviously I can't play it. We got
Right.
we got copyright claimed on our Relic Grind where we did the
Did
music
we?
comparisons
Oh.
with Balan Wonder World
Oh.
and Ghostbusters. So not a strike, just a
Darn.
claim. And it was like, yeah, you can have the no revenue I'm making. Go ahead. But yeah, so here, this is great. You have to check this out with sound. It's Crazy Potato
Right.
over at Nexus Mods. It's creepy as all hell. Creepy as all hell.
Yeah, the Thomas head was rather creepy.
It's
Especially
fantastic.
since from I mean, it was a little dark, so I couldn't quite tell if it was or not. But I think the head is constantly looking at you, even
Yeah.
if her body's turned the other way.
Yep. It's fantastic. It's
So I was
fantastic.
like, oh my god, what the heck?
They have to do something to make you look at her eyes.
Fin-
What are you talking about? If her front is turned away from you, you're staring at her butt. You're like butt height.
Finishing up with new games that were announced, Lost Judgment is getting a worldwide release this September. This might be a little more obscure for some of you. I don't know if either of you actually knew this about this series or played this series. But I have, so I put it here. This is a direct sequel to RGG's Studio's 2018 title. So if you're looking for some mystery, some crossover stuff with like or the feeling of Yakuza, but solving a murder mystery, and the prime suspect has an alibi. So how do you solve this crime? If you play Judgment, then great. Here you go. Worldwide release in September. If you haven't, or if you no idea what I'm talking about, if you even remotely like Yakuza or like, mystery novels, movies, or, mystery games, I highly suggest you check out Judgment and then take a look at Judgment 2 here. Mad Martha must be a Judgment fan, says it's looking good. I think it looks fantastic too, and it is only 4 months away. It was very cool to get the announcement that there was going to be a global release and that it was in September, all on Judgment Day. I'm a huge fan. I can't wait for this. Jason, have you ever played Judgment? Or I know you're not into the Yakuza series.
I had never heard of the series until I read the thing today.
Really?
Yeah.
Have we piqued interest, or is it just not your thing?
Yeah, it looks kind of interesting. I wish they showed actual gameplay in addition to all the cutscenes, but because I like to know what I'll be doing. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, I think it looks kind of cool.
Yeah, it's going to have the action combat of Yakuza, so you got that, all the takedowns and all the different fighting styles and stuff. Sandbox environment, so, open world. September 24th, and it's going to be for everything, basically. PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox X and S, Xbox One. No PC version, though, Yod. At least not announced as part of this release.
Okay. So funny thing is, like, the day before you sent us the show notes, this popped up on my YouTube feed. I'm like, what's this? This looks interesting. And I watched the trailer, and I was floored by the graphics.
Yeah.
Mhm,
I mean,
yeah.
the realism and the style, yet it's not so real that you get that uncanny valley feeling to it.
Yeah, and if you've played the Yakuza series at all, while you're not seeing gameplay here, this is the in-game look too.
Yeah,
Like, this is not pre-rendered
Sure.
video cutscene. This is in-engine stuff. So you're
Right.
fine on that front. If you think this looked good, you're gonna like the look of the game too.
Yeah, and then of course, you sent the show notes. I'm like, oh hey, so we're talking about it anyways.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
But yeah,
Yakuza
it
guys look a
looks
little over the top,
amazing.
look a little weird though. So whereas these look a lot more. Look at the courtroom scene, like they look a
Yeah,
lot
the
more
court-
normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, the courtroom scene was what got me because
Realistic.
like they look so dead
Mhm.
on for real people.
Yep.
Like,
All right,
wow.
gentlemen, it's about that time. We're getting close. We did all the
Yep.
miscellaneous news. We did the new
Mhm.
titles section.
Mhm.
Let's move to the last section before we head over to the games of the week. And this is going to be when video games and baseball collide. And then, no, we're not talking about MLB The Show 21, which is a great game. And I still can't hit the ball for shit, but I'm trying. We're going to talk about real life baseball colliding with video games. Jason, what happened to the Oakland Athletics? What is this?
So they have a pitcher named Jesus Lazardo, and he broke his finger. Was it his finger?
All right, but he's a pitcher, right? That happens.
Yeah,
right?
it happens. Hairline fracture in his pinky. It turns
Yeah,
out.
it's a pitcher though. That happens.
Yeah,
Great.
you
Why
play
are we
baseball,
talking
stuff
about
happens.
this?
We're talking about this because he broke it playing a video game.
Oh. How does one do that?
So apparently, it says here that the injury was not caused by an angry reaction, so he wasn't raging at getting headshot.
Bullshit. When you have to say that.
It says, but it
Well,
was a
it
general
cover up.
reaction to something that happened in the game.
The table
moved his
broke.
hand
I
to the
wasn't angry and slammed into it or anything, but the table broke.
He moved his hand to the side and accidentally hit it on a nearby table. But he never
Moved
clarified the game he was playing,
side.
unfortunately. So
Oh, we don't even know what game it was. I hope it was
No.
MLB
Yeah,
21,
yeah.
actually.
I
No,
was
it was
trying to find
Fortnite.
what
I'm
game
betting
it was.
Fortnite.
moved his
Yeah,
hand to the side and hit it on the table. Like, I mean, you can do that, but how forcefully do you have to? If you're holding your
Yeah, you have
controller
to-
or whatever, what do you do? You're like, dang it.
To
What are you doing?
fracture.
Yeah,
your
hairline
pinky or
fracture on
finger,
your
yeah.
pinky.
Yeah.
I mean, I was working out the other day and accidentally slammed my thumb with a weight, and it still works fine.
Yeah, but
It
that's
doesn't
lifting
even hurt
weights too. You expect there to be you can
Right,
injure yourself with that sort of stuff.
right. But I mean, it was it was a mistake. It was forcefully slamming it together and accidentally hitting my thumb with it.
Wow, Martha
And
brings up
it's
a
not
good point.
fractured. How hard do you have to hit to
Brings up a good
fracture?
point. It could have been a VR game.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. He's running
The
from
dangers
zombies.
of a
He's
VR
running
game.
from zombies.
Yep.
All right.
He says he's moved. He says he's moved the table. By the way.
Yeah, I bet. I bet.
I
When,
still want to know what
when
game
a video game costs you that much salary, I bet you move that table.
He's on the IL. He'll be fine.
On the good side, though, CMU pitcher, not Carnegie Mellon University. If you're thinking Pittsburgh, we're talking about Central Michigan University. Senior right-hander Jordan Patty pitches a perfect game. A perfect game.
Wow, 7 innings.
That happens, right? That happens.
Mm-hmm.
Also has gone on an over 1 month scoreless streak. Yeah.
Impressive.
It is impressive. It is impressive. But why the hell are we talking about it? Well, apparently Jordan was having a lot of problems getting left-handed batters out. And over the summer, quarantining for 2 weeks after he had contracted COVID-19, he had a little bit of extra time to go ahead and work on how am I going to pitch to lefties. And so, Jason, he played MLB The Show. And he noticed that, hey, all these pitchers are throwing a cutter pitch. I don't throw a cutter pitch. I should probably learn that, and had time. And the cutter has now been added to Jordan Patty's roster as the 6th pitch. Also does a 2 and a 4-seam fastball, curveball, slider, and a changeup. Pretty deep arsenal there. And coming up in July, made a perfect game in the last start and extended his scoreless streak to 38 2/3 innings because he added the cutter to help with dealing with left-hand batters, Jason. All because of MLB 21.
I feel like this is a little specious.
Oh,
like,
casting doubt.
It's not like you learn how to throw a cutter by playing the video baseball game. What is he on the mound? Okay, I gotta press the square button. No, it's nice to see that it worked in the game, but I don't think that's that big of a comparison.
I mean, normally these types of games don't extrapolate over. You don't play Call of Duty and think you can go out and be infantry.
No, and he's not claiming that. He's just claiming, hey, look at how many pitchers are pitching a cutter.
Right.
Right, I thought in my head that was a little more niche pitch, but there's a lot of MLB pros in this game throwing a cutter. Maybe I should learn a cutter, actually.
But you can learn that just by going on like ESPN stats or something and say, like 28% of pitches are cutters or whatever. Hey,
but he might not have been.
He had COVID. He was playing
what else
MLB. He was playing MLB.
I mean, everybody has epiphanies at different times.
Yeah, Jason.
So.
Jeez.
See, now what I do get is the one time I've read about like how, I don't know if it was NASCAR or Formula One drivers actually playing whatever video game and going on the track so they learn when to accelerate and when to decelerate and how to handle curves or whatever. That's the sort of thing that could translate over. But this I don't buy quite as much.
Yeah, translates in the headsets. All right, press X now.
But you gotta get this turned at 120 miles.
Pull R2. Pull R2.
Here's my line or whatever.
Accelerate.
We're not playing Mario Kart. Not learning NASCAR by playing Mario Kart.
Turtle shell.
Although NASCAR would be a lot more entertaining if they did have shells.
Yes, it would.
Yeah.
I'd watch.
Yeah.
I'd watch.
Yeah.
Let's go do games of the week and call it a day. I'll go first. It's pretty obvious where mine's gonna be. Resident Evil Village. That's my game of the week. Yes, I got it on the PS5 instead of PC because this is one I'm going to want to play when I'm not sitting at the computer too, just chilling in the bedroom or on the couch or whatever. So Resident Evil Village, fantastic so far. I'm going to be streaming more of it, and I'll keep you up to date on if I enjoy it as much late game as I do right now. That's my recommendation. On to you, Jason.
So as I was watching that Lost Judgment trailer, the game that popped in my mind was Detroit Become Human.
Yeah.
Which, if you ever played that, or if you haven't played it, I guess I'll explain. It's a little bit. You control 3 different characters, androids. You'll take them through various scenarios and so forth. And it has very good graphics. It has a very good facial look because it like modeled them off the real actors and so on. As some guys you might have heard of. But yeah, it's the same sort of thing where that's not as violent, not as action oriented. It does have some quick time events. So you have to make sure you don't get your androids killed or whatever and various things. So it's pretty cool. It's got a great story and a lot of good like choices you make throughout that really impact the gameplay.
Good recommendation. Go ahead, Yad.
So originally I was gonna do Mass Effect since the Legendary is coming out soon, but
Yeah, that's next
we
week. Next week.
yeah, we did the whole Hall of Fame stuff, and I gotta say StarCraft 2, because the continuation for the story of StarCraft was done really well. The graphics were done really well. The plays was okay because it's a real time strategy, so you can only do so much about with that. I realized that the tournament and stuff like that for StarCraft 2 doesn't have as big of a following as StarCraft 1 had, but the story they did for StarCraft 2 was amazing.
Wow. That's a heavy-hitting lineup. Resident Evil Village, Detroit Become Human, and StarCraft 2. Good luck, chat, letting us know which one of those 3 wins in the comments below. You can do that on YouTube, or you can do that over right underneath the video on ReadyCheckRadio.com, RAIDEO.com. Let us know who had the best recommendation. Chat, if you're live with us, don't go anywhere. After the show, we'll, as always, go dark for about 20 seconds to relabel everything. Then we'll be coming back up with Torchwick and Games Older Than Me. How are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty well. How about you?
I can't complain. I can't complain. So what is the game? You finished Metal Gear Solid last week on the PlayStation 1.
I did finish Metal Gear Solid a little earlier than expected, so I had to make some quick decisions. And with Resident Evil Resident Evil Village just coming out, I figured we may as well go back and play the original Resident Evil.
Oh, yeah. RE1 on the PlayStation 1. Now, you're not playing the remake, right? You're going back and playing the original, the OG.
Yeah. I'm still not sure about if remakes should be allowed on the games older than me.
I would say no, but it's not my show. You get to make your own rules. I put miscellaneous news at the beginning today, but it's my show. So, well, chat, hang tight. Torchwick will be live with the original Resident Evil, kicking that off on Games Older Than Me right after the show. We will, of course, be back on Gaming Gumbo next Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Remember, next week, actually, we might not have a show, Gaming Gumbo, next week. I got to talk to you guys. I get the second COVID shot Saturday morning.
Ooh.
So I think we may play it safe and just not schedule a show just in case. I
don't
don't anticipate
Friday afternoon, so
yeah, why don't we do that then? Okay, so no Gaming Gumbo next Saturday.
Okay.
Not that we anticipate anything, but just in case. Jason getting his Friday, me getting mine Saturday, Torchwick getting his Saturday. So no Gaming Gumbo next week. But what that does mean is next week we'll have Snowbound still on Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. And remember, the Relic Grind will not air Thursday. It will air Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And we will actually host here on Ready Check Radio, but we will be live on Mr. Happy's channel with a 5-person spectacular for the keynote speech at FanFest. So look forward to that.
You're not doing the dual stream?
No, not doing a dual stream. He's the one streaming it. So no, we'll host it on Ready Check Radio. So Ready Check Radio will be live, and you'll see it. You're all good. Until then, Yad, where can everybody find you?
Yada works on Twitter, Yada works on Facebook, and right here on Gaming Gumbo, but not next week.
But not next week. Mr. Winter.
find me on Twitter at Winter Informal, streaming at twitch.tv/Jason Winter.
I'm Mike Byrne. You can follow me right there on Twitter at MagicMan1, but more importantly, follow at RC Radio so we can tweet at you every time we go live. Until next time, stay safe. We'll see you on the servers. Later.